Ooh, that looks tasty. Stay the Hungry Gamer is back with another game review, and today we are talking about Kinfire Delve, Vainglory's Grotto, designed by Kevin Wilson, with art direction by Katarzyna Radosyuk, and published by Incredible Dream. And I do apologize for mispronouncing any of those names. And before I get started, do note that Incredible Dream was kind enough to provide me with this copy for review. Please make sure you turn on your Klingon subtitles, because if I make any mistakes in the rules overview, that's where you'll find the corrections. Now, what this game is this is a spin-off game from Kinfire Chronicles that features all, well, I shouldn't say all, some of the same heroes that you play in Kinfire Chronicles, and in fact, you can even use the cards themselves as alternate art for the characters in Kinfire Chronicles, though the crossover does end there. And in this, you're taking on the role of one or two of the Seekers, and two of them come in the box, and there will be two more of these sets coming later on next year, where you get the other heroes as well. But what you're doing is, one or two of you is going to be playing and trying to defeat whatever boss is in that particular box, in this case, Vainglory. And Vainglory has three different variants that you can fight, and at the beginning of the game, you're kind of going to shuffle one up and just face that. And in this particular one, you're kind of digging down to the bottom of this well to fight Vainglory. And you're going to do that through card play and some dice rolling. Now, if you are not interested in how this game is played, so I'll jump into my final thoughts, then you want to go to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about how this game is going to work. So what's going to happen is, on your turn, you're going to decide which one of these four challenges or events you want to face. There are combat events like this one here, there are obstacles like this one here, there are puzzles like this one here, and there are events like this one here. And with the exception of the events in which you just select that you're going to face that, you do what it says, and you move on, all of them are going to require skill checks. And the way that's going to work is, you're going to use the cards that you have here, and you're going to face whatever the challenge is. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I have decided to face this obstacle right here. And to do that, I'm going to play a single one of my cards. So I'm going to play this one here, Aftershock. And I'm going to look up here, and I'm going to make sure that the color matches, or the symbol, if you are colorblind. And I'm trying to get to this number here, trying to get to the 10. And so in this case, by playing this card, I would have 3 progress that I would make on this right there, so I could go ahead and put that there. However, if someone else is playing with me, they could play some of their cards as a boost. And the boost is determined down here on the bottom. In this case, this card can boost a red or a green, and it would give +2 and 1 shield. And if you're playing just by yourself, then you can actually use 2 of your own boosts to boost yourself up to 2 times. So we'll just say that I also am playing by myself, so I'm also going to play this one right here, so I have given myself a total of 4 right off the bat. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll these 4 dice here. And what I'm looking for is ones that match the color. In this case, I got none. And I also got this darkness token right here. However, let's just say that I had rolled this right here, and that I had managed to roll like that. So then, the light counts as a wild, and this one would count as 1, so I would be all the way up to 6 out of the 10 with this attempt. Then, I would look here, and I see that I have a special bonus here. And sorry, you weren't able to actually see my 2 cards here. Sorry about that. But then we look here, so I had my 3 here, my bonus of 1 right here. Then we look here and we see that after I've done this action, I can choose another challenge, and for every shield that I discard from my hand, I can add 2 progress to that. So we're just going to say that I'm then going to discard both of these cards with shields. And now I can add 4 progress to one of these others, and I'm just going to add it to that right there. Like so, and now I've made progress there. However, I have still failed. So I get to look here, and I look at the skull, which means I failed, and I take 1 damage. However, in this case, my particular character ability allows me to defend damage if I played cards that had a shield. And if we recall, I played this boost here that has 1 shield, so I actually would have blocked that 1 damage. That's important because if you ever run out of health, the game is over and health is collective amongst all of the heroes. Now, let's just say that on the next round, I come through and I do another 6, which is more than I need to accomplish this task. Then I'm going to look for the prize. In this case, it's got an asterisk. I get to go down 3 spots in the well, and I get to charge my Kinfire, which means I would have access to this card right here, and now I can use that. Now the other thing that I said I got was I also got to go down 3 in the well. So I would discard this card here, and then top 3 cards of the well deck I would discard. Then I would bring out a new one, like so, and we would pick again which one we're going to encounter. And there's all sorts of different things that happen. As you saw, there's different rewards, different penalties, there's different events that do different things, and so on and so on. The other thing that's important to note is, as you're using cards, you don't get to refill your hand. Every now and then there'll be a card that will allow you to draw more. So in that example, I used 4 cards, so I only have 4 left. So I can keep going. However, at some point, I might be out of cards or have no cards left that I can use to engage with any of the challenges. In that case, I have to exhaust, which means I'll get to draw a full hand. In the solo, that would be 8 cards, and I have to draw one of these exhaustion cards and do whatever it says. In this case, if there's ever 3 copies of this card in play, you immediately lose the game. So you're going to keep playing, and with luck, you will get all the way down to the bottom, and when you get down to the bottom, which is when this deck over here is empty, then you get to encounter the boss. And the way that works is, first, you will flip this card over, and you see what type of card it is, and then you place around it the 4 boss cards, which are always the same, like so. And the way this works is, the particular boss you're facing will have a certain penalty that's going to happen. In this case, every time you roll the darkness symbol, it will activate. But you're going to have to complete these challenges around it, and you can't harm Vainglory until you have earned the ability to do so. And you do that by doing these other challenges around it. So if I were to accomplish this task right here, I would flip that over, and now Vainglory is vulnerable to green actions. And you're going to play until you've either run out of health, you've lost due to exhaustion cards, or Vainglory has been defeated. And that's how this game works. So, what do I like about this game? The first thing is, considering the price of this game, it is an amazing production. The artwork on the cards looks great. The box even has the cool like foil look on it. A lot of the cards have the foil on it. I love that I can use the characters in here as alternate art in Kinfire Chronicles, which we already know that I really like. It's a great production. It's like $20 or something like that. It's just a shockingly inexpensive game for the quality of component and all this in there. So, I mean, I love that. I love that. But talking about the gameplay, I really enjoy the gameplay. I think there's a good amount of choice that you have in every game because there's so many well cards. And you're never going to see all of the well cards. That's never going to happen because you are getting the rewards where you get to kind of dive deeper. So you're definitely never going to have the same game. I've played, I don't know, 5-6 times now, and there's probably cards in there that I've never actually encountered. So I think that's really, really cool. I like that the characters feel very different when you play them. Like, they really feel very different when you play. I mean, I really, really like that. I think that's just perfection. I also like that it takes from Kinfire Chronicles this boosting idea, how you can play cards on other people's turns and kind of boost what they're doing, but I like that they took the boosting a little bit further in this and made it a little more complicated with how you're able to boost and win, and how the boosts might be different than the main action. I think all of that works really, really well. And then the last thing I'll say is I really do appreciate that Vainglory, the boss, has 3 forms, so you never know exactly what you're going to face. It doesn't affect what you're going to do, really, because you're still trying to dive down to the bottom. There's not a whole bunch of, like, bulking up your character and building. There's nothing like that going on. But I like that you don't know what you're going to face. It's very satisfying to kind of see what's going to hit and what's going to happen. And again, all of that, like a $20 box. Really, really small, easy to play. So all of that I think is really, really good. And I think it plays as well solo as it does 2-player. Obviously, since none of the other sets are out, I haven't played 3 or 4-player. So what are my quibbles with the game? Well, the first thing is there's only as I just said, the single boss in the deck. So you are facing the same boss over and over again, and even though the final form is different, it's not different enough that's going to change what you're doing as you get there. So that might rub some people the wrong way. And along with that, the 4 cards that go around the boss are always exactly the same. So after you play a few times, you know which one to hit and which one not to hit to make it vulnerable. And so I think it does lose a little bit of its replay there if you're all in for the replay value. And then the last thing I'll toss out that might be something that bothers some people. It doesn't bother me, because we know, if you watch enough of the channel, you know I like dice, you know I like chaos. But most of your successes are going to come down to the dice. And you're chucking dice in this to try to get more successes so you can get through the game, which is absolutely 100% at odds with Kinfire Chronicles. You do not roll dice in Kinfire Chronicles. There are no dice in Kinfire Chronicles. So you have some determinism of what you're going to be doing with your cards in Kinfire that you don't have in the Delve. And I don't know that that's a bad thing. It's just a different feeling, and I think it works well for this small, quick experience. But again, if you're here because you like Kinfire Chronicles, then that might be something to think about. But with all of that said, I really enjoy this. I'm really looking forward to the next one and kind of starting to mix and match characters. And yeah, it's fun. It is a fun little experience, and I am so very, very, very pleased with the experience that this little box game provides. And again, for about 20 bucks, you can't go wrong there, I don't think. So there you have it, folks. That is Kinfire Delve, Vainglorious Grotto. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, and maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.